Hello, everybody. I am Remy Kailis, and this is another stream of consciousness video where I am just going to get personal and talk about my past. But I mean, this is an extension of the previous video, so you may want to watch the previous video before you watch this video. Because in this previous video, I've mentioned that how the anti-feminists are arguing with the gender critical feminists, and if the gender critical feminists were all gone, then the anti-feminists would be the most offensive thing on the platform. They cannot like point to any other group that's more offensive than they are. And not only that, but it's like if people have to go, or if people are problematic because they are offensive, then what does that make you? You would be the most offensive thing next, especially since gender critical feminists also complain about the same thing. They also complain about censorship, and they also complain about violence being done onto them. The anti-feminists would just be next on the list to go for being offensive and problematic, especially since when I looked into the fights, or at least I looked into one of it, the anti-feminist started the fights. The gender critical feminist was minding their own business, but the anti-feminist started provoking them, started antagonizing them, and then they dogpiled the person over a fight that they started. So not only that, but you're kind of welcoming that behavior being done unto you because anti-feminists are considered to be too edgy for Twitter. Too edgy. Sargon of Akkad, Bunty King are permanently suspended from Twitter unless, Bunty King creates a different accounts. You know, you're welcoming for this type of behavior to be done onto you for like Michael Rowlands or Christy Winters to start to fights with you. And then like if they could purge enough anti-feminist accounts off the platform, they probably could easily dogpile you because I mean that's what I saw. Anti-feminists started the fights while the gender-critical feminists was minding their own business, and then they dogpiled this gender-critical feminist for wrong think. For wrong think. You had the wrong opinions, and if you only had the right opinions, it wouldn't happen to you. Well, there is a problem with punishing people for wrongthink because it would only encourage people to hide their opinions. So, this is where I talk about my past as an atheist having a Pentecostal Christian family. Now, having a Pentecostal Christian mother, you would think that I would be Pentecostal, but in fact, I was like an atheist at like 6 or 9. I became an atheist quite early. I think I was 9. I was 9 years old or 10 or whatever. And being forced to being a Christian didn't make me Christian. Huge shock, not allowed to have any other opinion aside from I'm a Christian and I love the Lord and I love Jesus Christ is my savior. I mean, all it did is encouraged me to put on a mask. It's encouraged me to lie. And so it's like, yeah, I love Jesus. Yeah, I love Jesus. I love the Lord. I can use more Jesus in my life. I love praying. I love reading the Bible. I just began telling people what they wanted to hear. And in the end, if people are allowed to have only one opinion or they're going to be dogpiled, it's like you're going to have this opinion or you're going to get dogpiled. To me, it's just going to encourage people to tell you what you want to hear because that's what I did to my family, and that's what I did while I was at school, and that's what I did when I was at work. If somebody wanted to hear somebody, I'll just tell them. And y- look, it's one thing when an atheist pretends to be a Christian to their family and they just pretend to love God and, go over the internet like, actually, I lied to my family all the time and I didn't mean a single word of that. But can you imagine if somebody was pretending to be your friend because they felt like they had to be your friend? Because if they revealed their true feelings, they may get some sort of backlash. All you're doing is sending a message over like this person or you would receive backlash for not liking. You are going to be punished for saying your true opinions. You are going to be punished for saying how you truly feel. So don't say how you truly feel. Say what we want. Say tell us what we want to hear. In the end, it could just backfire because then they're not going to change their mind because get be nice, say the political correct thing, or we'll punish you. It doesn't work. It doesn't encourage people to change their mind. All it does is encourage people to lie to you. And in the end, they would probably be too close for comfort. Like that person who is your friend, you probably depend on them because you don't know that they secretly hate you. And if they secretly hate you and you are like, depending on them, like if you depend on them for a ride to work, if you depend on them for this and that, eventually they may have an opening to really screw you over that they otherwise wouldn't have if they could just say how they truly feel. In the end, at least for me personally, I would want to know that I am surrounded by people who really like me as opposed to being surrounded by fakes. Well, that's all I had to say. Bye bye.